Hi, everybody. My name is Will Horniak, storyteller, and it's nice to be with you today. And I have a story to tell you. It's an old Jewish folk tale, and sometimes it's called the first recycling story ever told. A long, long, long time ago, there was a man who was a tailor. And of course, a tailor, he makes clothes. And one day he took out his scissors. Now, have you got some scissors? Let me see your scissors. Good, good, good. Hey, he took his scissors and he cut, 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 cut. Then he took a needle and some thread and he sewed, and he made a beautiful coat. Ha ha. Want to try your coats on? Oh, nice. Well, he loved his coat. He wore it all day and he wore it all night. He wore it here, then of course he wore it there. Well, he wore it everywhere, but he finally wore it out. And it was sort of ragged and tattered and threadbare. You want to try that with me? It was ragged and tattered and threadbare. Good. Well, he was going to throw it away when he thought about it. And he got an idea. And he said, I can reuse this. And he took his scissors. Have you got your scissors? Good. And he cut, 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 cut. He took needle and thread and he sewed. And look at this. He made a vest. He made a little vest that he got from the coat. But he loved the vest as much as the coat. And so he wore it inside, and he wore it where? Outside. He wore it to church, he wore it to school, he wore it to work, and of course, he finally wore it out. And it was ragged and tattered and threadbare. And he was going to throw it away when he thought about it. You want to think with me? And he got an idea. And he took his scissors and he said, I can reuse this. And he cut, 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 cut. He took needle and thread and sewed. And look at this. He made a hat, right, that came from the where? The vest that came from the coat. Exactly. But the next day he was walking to school and he was walking down the street and the wind blew really hard. Can you give me some wind? Ready? Good, but it blew harder. And it blew so hard. Whoa! Oh no. The wind blew the hat right off his head. And he went running down the street, come back, come back, come back. But the hat went up, 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 up into the sky. But look who came down, down, down out of the sky. Caw, caw, caw. A crow. And if you don't speak crow, I'll translate. That means nice hat. I think I'll use it for a nest. And the crow took the hat, flew off into a tree, and used it for a nest. Well, about 3 months later, the tailor was walking down that street, and he happened to look up into that tree, and he said, hey, that's my, what? That's my hat, yeah. And he climbed up the tree, and he shimmied out the branch, and he said, I got it. I got my hat. Oh, boy, I got my hat. My hat, my... It was ragged and tattered and threadbare, and so he was going to throw it away, but he thought about it. And then he got, remember, an idea. And he said, I can reuse this. He took his scissors. Have you got your scissors? Good. Ready? And he cut, cut, cut. He took needle and thread, and he sewed, and he made some, some what? Some gloves. He got the gloves from where? The hat, which came from the vest that he made from the coat. Well, the next day, it was snowing. Oh, the snow was coming down. And so he put on his gloves, and he was having so much fun. He made snow balls. He made a snowman. But the gloves, they got wet and damp and soggy and moist. And so that night, when he went to sleep, he took them off and he put them over his chair, so they could dry. And then he went to sleep. And you know how tailors sleep when they sleep? Very, very deeply. Can you help me? Ready? Good. Uh-oh. He blew the gloves off the chair and they fell down. Woo! Brrr, right onto the head of his big sleeping Rottweiler dog. Yes. Now, what do big dogs like to do with soft, wet, damp, moist stuff? Exactly. Ready? And in the morning, when the tailor woke up, you want to wake up? And he got dressed, he put on his clothes, and then he said, "Oh boy, it's time to put on my new gloves." Ha ha, my new gloves, yeah. Those gloves, they were ready, they were ragged and tattered and threadbare. And he threw them. No, he didn't, did he? He thought about it. Let's think. And then he got an idea. And he said, "I can reuse this." And he took his scissors and he cut. He took needle and thread and he sewed. And you know what he made in the very end? He made a tiny little cloth button, just a little button. But the next day, the button, it popped off. He looked for it everywhere, but he couldn't find it anywhere. And all he has now is this ridiculous little story. But you know what he says every time he tells it? "I can reuse this." And believe me, he has. He got the story from the button. And I think that came from the gloves. And didn't he make that from the hat? Exactly. And that came from the vest, which he made from the coat. And that's an old Jewish folktale called Something from Nothing. Thank you for listening. It's a pleasure to be with you. Bye for now.